If you're going to be at PAX Prime, come see us live Saturday, 9:30 p.m. That's August 29th at the show in the Chicken Theater. For more details, hit up the PAX site at prime.paxsite.com, and we hope we'll see you there.
George Takei. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
I'll tell you something about space.
Oh, Shatner.
Oh, my
Don't
star.
say that.
Goodness me. My
Takei.
Facebook page. I do a terrible Takei. This is this is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
And hello, George Takei.
And hello, George Takei, if you're listening. Empathy.
Ooh.
What is it?
I wish you knew
What is that-
sometimes, Anthony.
What does that feel
I wish
like?
you knew.
I wish I did too, for me.
Yeah, I think you'd really get a lot out of
I'm
it.
already pretty great. I wish I was better for me.
At empathizing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to really just be better at knowing what I'm feeling. Empathy. Do you think you're a pretty empathetic person?
Well, at the risk of tooting my own horn, I think I'm extraordinarily empathetic. I think sometimes I'm too empathetic.
I think so too. I think you're weak.
I am weak.
No,
I will readily admit that. I'm the guy that cries at every movie. I've cried at every episode of Newsroom and West Wing. I empathize, man.
Yeah, and I think I have more empathy as I get older.
Usually that's the opposite, though. Usually people get less empathetic. when
Do you
they get
think
older.
so?
Yeah, you get hardened to life, I think, in general.
I don't know. I think you get softer about certain things because you've lived more experiences. Like those commercials that are calculated to make you cry. When I was a kid,
They make me cry.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, "Fuck those commercials."
Uh-huh.
Those are so like manipulative and stupid and schmaltzy. And now, like, I tear up a little bit, and I'm just like, "Man,
Yeah.
fuck this, fuck you, advertising,
my feelings.
fuck my stupid, predictable feelings." Some people are more empathetic than others. There are some disorders that limit people's empathy.
Do you not think that if we were all more empathetic, the world would just be a better place?
I think so. And there was an op-ed in the New York Times recently by somebody who's been studying empathy for years and years and years, saying that empathy is absolutely 100% a choice.
I've been saying this forever. I believe that to be the case. You make a decision to give a shit. You have to give a shit.
Yeah, well, but it seems like some people just naturally give more shit.
Maybe that's true, but I also think that, I don't know. I don't have the interior life of somebody who doesn't give a shit, so I don't know what that's like.
I can answer any questions you have. I'm right here.
Well, that's fortunate.
You know, the argument here is that your brain is a physical thing. It has physical structures. Some of them are larger than others. In some people, there are chemical reactions that happen that make you more towards one sort of personality type or emotion, or more prone to some sort of reaction than others.
And nurture. I think that you're describing nature, but I think there's some nurture also. Like the life experience leads to feeling.
Yeah.
I actually got into this discussion on Twitter recently with some people who were talking about how something I've said for a long time, and we were all talking about on Twitter, is I think there should be a requirement to work in a service industry for at least 1 year for all humans. You should have to wait tables like you become more empathetic when you have an experience of having to do certain things.
I actually 100% agree with that. And that's why they always say, like, when you're done with high school, you should do some sort of like
Service.
It's cool to take a year off to do something like AmeriCorps or like the Peace Corps or something like that.
100%, yeah.
It's good to travel and see like other people. Like, you can't be empathetic towards something you don't understand.
Right.
That's the big thing. Like, a major part of empathy is you have to put yourself in somebody else's place, right?
Right.
You can't do that if you can't conceive of what their life is about.
Right.
Now, there are certain now in that sense, I think, yes, empathy is learned. But at a basic level, if you see somebody who's sad, who's crying, who clearly needs help, shouldn't that be a natural reaction? Shouldn't that be like something that just happens in the brain?
Just on a base level humanity. You should want to help, right? Or at least feel something.
Yeah, and I think that is a certain amount of it is instinctive. But once again, that could be because we all have certain base experiences when we're young, right? Like we all know what it's like to cry. We all know we recognize crying. We recognize being hurt. We recognize that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it seems like humanity has a certain base amount of empathy. But maybe that's learned too. Maybe we're born with zero empathy and it's all flexing a muscle over and over until we have it.
It's interesting because I think, I tend to not think that that's the case. I tend to not think that we are born with zero empathy. I think that if anyone sees a baby in distress, regardless of how callous you are.
But you've been a baby.
I've been a baby. That's correct.
You've cried.
That's true.
So was that learned or were you born with that? You see a baby and it's crying and you know that the baby is helpless and that that it's scared and that it's crying and it needs something because you have been in all those places before.
Right.
And so these guys who wrote this article were
You're saying babies themselves don't do shit.
Babies
They
have
don't care.
zero empathy.
They're just super
Babies don't
selfish.
even have object permanence. Babies are idiots. I am smarter
Selfish idiots.
than every baby, Jeff.
I mean, there's some smart babies out
There
there.
are some smart babies and I am smarter than all of them.
Baby Einstein? That's
Yeah.
that movie.
You mean Baby Geniuses?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Baby Geniuses.
Baby Geniuses 2 Super Babies is really the one to watch. You can skip number one.
Really? I won't feel lost?
I mean, there are a few things that you should probably know going in.
More lost than I do when I'm around some super smart babies in general.
Go see the movie with your favorite super smart baby and they can explain it to you. But there are a lot of, these guys have been running 20, 30 years of studies, right?
Okay.
And they are saying that, man, it might be almost entirely learned. Because
that means we're fucked, Anthony. That means we're fucked. Because there's a lot of people.
I think I'm fine.
There's a lot of people teaching their kids to be callous assholes.
Yeah. I mean, and some of these studies that they run, so we've heard before, like, one person dying is a tragedy. 1 million people dying is just a news story.
Statistic,
It's a statistic, right? So they've actually run tests on that. And it's true.
They killed 1 million people
They
for
killed
a
1
test?
million people in front of 30 different people. So they killed 30 million people. And they made other people watch.
Listen, I just want to say right here, right now, I do not support that kind of scientific
Absolutely not.
study.
And I think it's wasteful, and I think our government shouldn't be giving money to the 30 million people killing study.
No, I don't.
I'm going to put my foot down right now.
But let's just hear what the results were first.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I don't really care. I mostly care about my money going into it.
Yeah.
So no, basically, like, they've run these studies that say, like, yeah, empathy kind of seems to fail when we need it most.
Oh boy.
Other studies show, like, our empathy is dampened or constrained when it comes to people of different races, nationality, or creeds.
Well, that's because anything different from us, it's not empathy. If you don't feel it for anybody other than someone who's exactly like you. You know what I'm saying? You got to empathize with people who are different than you in order to be a fucking human. It's kind of making
So
me
what
mad.
are you saying?
I'm saying give a shit
Well,
about people that aren't exactly like you.
These guys are saying we're just not, maybe we're not built for that. Maybe we have a limited resource of empathy. Like, maybe,
They're like, we killed 1 million people for this study and we didn't feel a thing.
some psychologists say that empathy is actually, like, they cite this guy, Paul Bloom, who says that empathy is parochial and narrow-minded, one that will have to yield to reason if humanity is to survive.
What?
Empathy is a weakness, says this guy. It's an evolutionary weakness, and it will eventually hold us back.
Why?
Maybe that's why it's limited.
Why? Because we can't make dispassionate decisions that...
We have to occasionally we have to make big decisions for the species, for our families.
He's saying,
for our,
Earth is overpopulated. We're having a scarcity of resources. We're facing our own extinction. Better to cull the population and make a dispassionate, reasonable...
Can we save 100,000 people and
Yeah.
keep the human race going? Or does everybody die?
Fuck this guy.
Hey man, he's put between a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah.
And if you were put in between a rock and a hard place, would your empathy help you or would it hinder you?
It may hinder the 100,000 people.
Like if you're in a Saw situation.
You always want to put me in a Saw situation.
I would love to put you in a Saw situation.
I mean, I keep getting those
tell you something?
Facebook invites.
Yeah.
Anthony Carboni cordially invites you to a Saw situation.
I would like to put honestly, I've imagined being in a Saw situation multiple times.
You have?
Sometimes I imagine being in a Saw
Do
situation.
you always imagine yourself triumphantly
It's me.
beating it?
It's a good friend. He's got a key in his stomach. What do I do? What do I fucking do? The only way out is get that key out of his stomach. There's a huge cleaver over there.
What do you do?
What do I do?
What do you do?
We're not being fed. There's no water.
Right. I mean, he was fed a key.
He was fed a key. And you know what? I gotta get that key out. He's eventually gonna poop out the key.
Yeah, right. Why don't you just wait and...
In my head,
Give him a little
some
privacy.
there's some sort of a timer situation, you know, where it's like it's not gonna happen. By the time he poops out that key, we're both dead.
You just want to cleave his stomach open.
I don't want to cleave his stomach
I
open.
mean, a little bit, do you? Just curiously? Just about
I'm just
curiosity?
saying, were I put in a Saw situation, I'd
cleaving
cleave.
stomachs?
I'd cleave.
What happens if
And
you
I'd probably
cleave-
walk away fine.
What if you cleave a stomach
I might have a nightmare or two.
There's no key inside. How bad would you feel?
Oh, I'd feel pretty bad, but you know what? That's not on me. That's on the weird puppet thing that told me there was a key inside.
It's a little on you.
I don't know, man. If your parents tell you that you're going to the circus and you wind up at the dentist, you can be mad at your parents,
you
right?
Can cleave your parents, right?
You can cleave your parents. And I have. But no, these guys are actually saying that they disagree with Paul Bloom. They agree with you.
Well, good. Thank God.
They agree that empathy is something that strengthens us and makes us
Yes.
better. And they also agree that it is a choice. They agree that it is a muscle, it is a learned skill, and that people 100% of the time are choosing whether they want to feel empathetic for others or not.
I think this is the case. I think absolutely I 100% agree. I think if we all just made a decision that we're all in this together and me helping somebody else helps me. I mean, I know that's some hippie shit, but that's what I genuinely believe.
So here's how the studies went down. They found they did some studies, and there were people in these studies that read about either 1 or 8 child refugees from Darfur. Okay.
Okay.
Now, half of the participants were led to believe that they would be asked to make a donation at the end.
Okay. So give to the kids of Darfur.
Yeah. The other half were just told, read this story about these kids in Darfur.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When there's no financial cost involved in feeling empathy, people feel more empathy.
Oh, man.
So at all times, empathy is a choice. We are pitting our own survival and well-being against that of other people. And we naturally, as a reflex, want to distance ourselves because we have a survival instinct.
I might couch that result differently. I think that's a valid reading of the results, but I would say maybe the idea is because of the way money functions in our society, maybe people feel more like they're being manipulated.
Sure.
In the sense of, you're telling me this story about troubled kids in Darfur. I know ahead of time that money is coming at the end of it. I'm steeling myself against those feelings because I don't want to feel tricked.
Maybe, but maybe you're telling yourself you don't want to feel tricked when, like, you're sitting down for this study. They tell you, like, listen, you're about to read this thing. It's a real thing. Okay. And you will be asked for, we might ask you for like a monetary donation at the end. Do you genuinely believe that you're being tricked, or are you allowing yourself to build walls? Oh, they're probably only like 20 cents on the dollar even gets to these kids, if that. Right. And like, who knows if it's even going to the right places? Who knows if it's even targeted correctly, and like these fucking places and blah, blah, blah. But really, if 10 cents gets to them out of your dollar, isn't that better than them ever not having the 10 cents?
Yeah.
So there's still empathy involved, right? And if it's $1 or if it's $5, like,
it's nothing.
It's nothing, but you're allowing yourself to build these walls, right?
Yeah.
But what these guys are saying is that this study also showed that there really isn't a limit to empathy in terms of one person versus 8 people versus millions of people. The limit is we choose.
Right.
So it's not the difference between a person being murdered and a million people being murdered. And, we just can't understand it. We can't wrap our head around it. It's a statistic. We could wrap our head around it if we wanted to sit and wrap our heads around it.
Right.
And these guys,
sit down and watch any Holocaust documentary and you start wrapping your head around it real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So all these other studies that were done to kind of prove this, they wanted to prove that empathy is a skill and you can improve empathy.
They said, watch The West Wing.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Tell me you don't care about America.
There you go.
Tell me you don't care.
President Martin Sheen will make you care.
He cares about every single one of us.
He does, and he'll have a stirring speech at the end, and you'll probably cry if you feel any empathy.
They had people try. They said, hey, make an effort to feel more empathy for people of different races than your own. Mm-hmm. They actually asked these people in these groups.
Yeah.
And just by asking them to kind of
give a shit,
fake it till you make it in terms of caring for others, they legitimately started caring for others. Like immediately, it was highly increased.
Can they go to the Republican National Convention and do this study, please?
Right? Can they go to my mom's house? Mom!
Who does she not care for? You?
I don't want to talk about it. So yeah, and they're extending this now, and here's where I kind of I love this, and I love the work they're doing. Here's where they extend it to where I go, they're saying people that have psychopathy or narcissistic tendencies, they're saying those people are choosing to feel no empathy. They could,
right,
but they don't want to.
I think that's absolutely the case. I think this is a theory because I don't actually feel this way, so I don't have any insight into it. But from the outside looking in, it certainly seems that people look at the evidence and they go, I have a choice. I can make my life better, or I can help other people. And what does helping other people do? It doesn't make my life better, which I think is very short-sighted and not true. But they go, I'm going to create walls, protect myself, and create out-groups and in-groups, and I'm going to only... what's mine is mine, and I'm gonna and fuck everybody else and make mine better and improve my life and fuck everybody else.
So, but what if there is? I mean, we've run tests on people who are psychopathic, sociopathic, and we've seen that there is just a lack of activity in those regions of the brain. Mm-hmm. Like, is that a choice? Can you choose to just shut down a part of your brain? I wonder if it's not.
Watch.
Wrong part. I wonder if it's not something like maybe early on, these people made choices, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what if it's a mix, right? What if it is something where early on, something in life, whether it was a defense mechanism, whether it was situational, I don't know, maybe it's partially, maybe it is genetic, maybe it is chemical. Maybe these people were kind of had to make choices early on, that forced them not to be empathetic. And over time, they just grew in such a way, think about neuroplasticity or whatever, where they just didn't use that part of your brain. And now, if you don't use it, if you don't know how to use it,
you lose it.
What if it's just gone? If there's zero activity somewhere, how do you go from 0 to even 1?
Start watching The West Wing, baby.
I don't think that's gonna do it.
No? Okay.
If I don't have the ability to feel empathy at all, how do you explain that to somebody? How do you explain purple to somebody?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you make a solid point in the sense that there may actually be a physiological explanation in the brain, but I don't buy it. I don't think it's all 100% just part of my brain that is atrophied or that I'm undernourishing. I think it is worldview that has been solidified, and there's been a decision that is useless to me. And I think that if you just made it, because we see it all the time with examples of people who, for example, are homophobic and outspoken about it. And then all of a sudden someone in their family comes out and is gay, and all of a sudden now they're empathetic to that cause.
But I think
once it has relation to your life, I think that can be sparked again in your brain. Once you have a personal connection to it, then all of a sudden now you can feel.
I don't know. I think that's a great thing to believe in terms of like, yay humans, yay humanity. But I mean, we're talking about, there are small children that, have been diagnosed and have psychopathic, narcissistic, sociopathic.
I'm talking about baby psychos.
I'm talking about
that really, really ill-conceived sequel to Baby Geniuses.
Yeah. It was like, we're going to workshop this. We're going to workshop this because I like that they go from geniuses to superheroes. I feel like going from geniuses to superheroes to a sort of caricature of a mental illness is a bit of a problem.
It's testing out through the trial. Have you seen the ratings on Dexter?
Oh, no.
Yeah. We thought, what if we had baby Dexters all running around, slicing up bodies, killing people? We got the plastic bags over babies. They kind of use the diapers to clean up the messes. It's super intelligent, psychopathic babies. We think that America's going to fall in love with these psychopathic babies.
Have you ever had yourself checked? But yeah, I think a lot of this comes from, and I certainly don't think these guys are having this problem. There's a lot of, I think, misconception and misinformation about what psychopathy and sociopathy are like, right? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I think that's like
we don't understand it. That's for certain.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like there are people we all think like, oh yeah, psychopath, like Dexter. No, maybe they're like somebody who struggles with this every day and has never hurt anybody, but has to kind of deal with like, okay, I need to act socially acceptable in this instance, and I can sort of tell that I don't feel the same way that other people do, but I don't know, like, is that like, I think that's fine because I don't know any other way to feel. And you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot more complexity going on. I would love to think that you can. I absolutely think empathy training and sort of like almost like physical therapy, I think should be a part of treatment for people who have these sort of things.
A rigid regimen of West Wing watching.
Just West Wing all the time, not the newsroom. The newsroom got a little bitter and weird.
I like the newsroom, but I think for our regimen, I think we definitely need to stick with West Wing. We know what works.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights for sure. Yeah.
That's just a prescription.
Let's make an entire generation of Coach Taylors. we'll all be great. Well, everything will work out great.
I don't know. I feel like maybe it is a mix, but I do feel like I don't want people to read an article like this and dismiss it as like these people could care if they wanted to. I think it's more complicated than that. I think it's harder than that.
You're probably
Oh my God, am I showing empathy for these people?
Hey-oh!
Oh my God!
You made a decision and it worked.
Oh my God. I have so many feelings now.
Yeah.
Oh God, other people.
Come on.
Anthony, other people are like me.
Come over to the light.
Oh!
I want to introduce you to someone. His name is President Bartlett.
No, I'm going to keep being kind of terrible, I think. How about you guys? Do you think that empathy is a muscle? Do you think it's a switch? Do you think it's physiological? It's so complicated, I think.
It is very complicated.
So why don't you put all your feelings about it in a tweet?
Oh, we would love that. If you can explain exactly how you feel all about this in 140 characters, we'd love it. You can use the hashtag West Wing.
You can use the short hashtag for complex issue.
Hashtag give a shit. That's what I want to see.
Oh, and hey, by the way, if you've seen a story recently that you would like us to cover here on the show, there are some great ways to get it to us. Twitter's not really one of them. Don't do it over Twitter.
They get lost.
They get lost, and we're sorry. That's partially on us, but better ways to do it. Send it to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com or go to our subreddit, which is wehaveconcerns.reddit.com. If you send them directly to me,
he doesn't care.
I won't care.